The Supreme Court heard oral argument on President Trump's claim that he's immune from prosecution. Most pro-Trump people think that this is a great idea, that he should be immune, but we have to look further into the future. No president should be immune from criminal prosecution. No judge should be immune from criminal prosecution. No member of Bar Council in the District of Columbia or New York who are persecuting conservative and Republican activist lawyers should be immune. And of course, in the District of Columbia, they claim they have absolute immunity, so they do as they please. No government official should have absolute immunity. So it's interesting listening to the arguments today because for once, I actually agreed with the leftist judges. Of course, they don't have good intentions. They basically just want to screw President Trump. But the conservative judges, they also were very reticent to say that a president has blanket immunity, and he shouldn't. Now, President Trump doesn't need it because he can defend the charges against him on the merits with regard to what's being charged, whether it's the J6 prosecution in Washington, D.C. before this biased, racist judge, Tanya Chutkan, who we're filing a complaint against, or whether it's those judges in New York City, Erganon, and the other one, Marchand, with regard to these bogus cases there, or for that matter, the case in Palm Beach with regard to the documents. The president has very good defenses in every case, and he would not be well advised to have his lawyer, who frankly, it's another example of him having lawyers who aren't really that great. I was listening to the guy, you could barely understand what he was saying. I feel bad for him. He has a speech defect, but you don't want somebody with a speech defect appearing in front of the Supreme Court that's hard to understand. So the bottom line is this, is that no president should have immunity. And let's go back in time a little bit. When I sued Hillary Clinton for the use of her 33,000 emails to private server, which was hacked by the admission of James Comey, the corrupt FBI director at the time, and likely gave rise to the coordinates of Ambassador Chris Stevens and my client's sons, Ty Woods and Sean Smith, at Benghazi, causing them to find those coordinates and to murder them. I sued Hillary. I sued her for wrongful death. I sued her for defamation because she also lied about what my clients had said. She was not entitled to immunity, yet she was protected by the lower court and by the DC Circuit, which, by the way, found no immunity for Trump. It shows you what a bunch of hacks there are on the DC Circuit. Political hacks through and through, mostly communists, mostly socialists, mostly far left judges put there with the grease of leftist special interest groups. So that's my message for today. Nobody deserves immunity in government. And given our Third Continental Congress, where we are going to declare independence, we met a couple years ago, we're going to pick it up at full speed very soon. We're going to make fine tunings to the Constitution. One of them is to make it clear there's no immunity. And in fact, Supreme Court justices admitted there is nothing in the Constitution that gives immunity to the president or, for that matter, any other government official unless it's specifically legislated by Congress, and it was not legislated with regard to the president. Other countries like Brazil and Israel have actually convicted their prime ministers or presidents and put them away. It's about time that our presidents should also feel the pain, in particular Joe Biden, who we indicted and convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison with regard to the bribery from communist China, Ukraine, and Russia. But of course, he claims immunity, so his Justice Department is not going to do anything. But they'll go against Trump, no problem there, they'll make an exception. So this is our government. It's corrupt top to bottom. The legal system is corrupt top to bottom in the federal level in particular. There are good state judges. I encounter many of them in Florida in particular. Some of them are not so good, but most of them are pretty good. But when a judge is not elected, when he's put on the bench with political campaign contributions and other forms of grease and bribery, this is what you get. And frankly, the judges on the Supreme Court are no better than the judges on the lower court. They're politicized, and they break according to their own ideological views, not the law, and those who put them on the bench. Go to freedomwatchusa.org, join our cause. We are your real Justice Department. You have no Justice Department. Contribute with tax-deductible contributions. We need the help. We need to get bigger. We need to have more lawyers, paralegals, and to file more cases, and to bring citizens' grand juries and citizens' trials, because frankly, the federal system will not do it. God bless you. God bless America. Remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast.